Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're passionate about helping people with business and accounting. Today's video kicks off the series, a DIY bookkeeping series. I want to teach you guys how to do your own books. And in today's video, we are going to talk about setting up the bank feed in QBO. So if you're interested, keep on watching. The reason why we are kicking off this series is because we want to help as many people as we can. And I know right now a lot of businesses are struggling, sales are down, growth isn't where you expected, your numbers aren't where you expected. And so one of the ways that I think I can help is if you can at least get the foundation, the basics of QBO down so your books are as accurate as you can possibly make them. So let's head over to QuickBooks and get started. So now we are in our QuickBooks screen and we are in the dashboard and we want to click on this banking button right here. And we're going to go to banking. Your bank connection is all set. Let's review your transactions. You can click here and it actually will prompt you to a video. So it usually does that the first time that you get into QuickBooks. And then you can take a step-by-step guide. So here it's telling you that you can switch between the different checking accounts. Here are your transactions to review. Here's where you can add a transaction. This is where you can go back and look at things you've already classified. And then if you ever want to go back to this tour, you can click on this button right here. This QuickBook has 3 accounts set up. It has a checking account, a savings account, and a credit card. And you can click down on this button here to reorder your accounts. So if you always want to see, let's say you want to see the savings account first, you can move that here. You can just rearrange the order right here. Click save when you're done. And then exit. So let's start with setting up this account. So this sample company is already set up, but let's say you don't have anything here and you're setting this up for the first time. So you're going to click on this button here where it says link accounts. And that is going to prompt you to a screen that looks like this. So once you get to this screen here, you're going to enter your bank name or the URL to your bank. I'm going to select Bank of America. So once I select Bank of America, it's going to take me to the Bank of America login. So click continue. And what it's doing is it's pulling the Bank of America URL and it's prompting me to enter my username and password and then submit. So once you've connected your bank, it gives you the option to select how many transactions you want to import. Now, because I'm using a sample company, I can't show you how to do that. Now, if your bank is not listed on here, you do have an alternative option. So if you go down here, you can actually upload a file from your bank. So if you export your bank data in a CSV format or a QBO format. There's other formats that you can use, but those are the most common ones you can get from your bank. You can upload that file and it will download those transactions for you. So I'm going to exit that. Now, before we go any further in this video, if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us, and we want to continue to do awesome content for you guys. So please subscribe. Now, the first thing you want to do when you come in and you're going to start adding transactions to your QBO account is you want to click this update button. This update button will allow QuickBooks to refresh whatever has cleared the bank account. And then it's going to give you a little message once it's done. So once this stops circling, it's going to say updated moments ago or, however long ago it was updated. Now you have 2 balances here. You have your bank balance and you have your in QuickBooks balance. Go away. Now sometimes those aren't going to match. So if you have transactions that you haven't entered, so like this one in QBO, it says 800, but the bank says 200, then right here, you're probably missing transactions. If it's lower than what the bank is showing you, is you probably have transactions that you've paid out that haven't cleared your bank account yet. So now we have the option here to filter by days. You can view transactions by certain criteria. So if you just want recognized transactions, you can click there and QBO will tell you everything that is a possible match. If you want transferred, if you want transactions that we have matched, it gives you different filtering options here. So if you're looking for something in particular, you can type it here. And this is still loading. And the cool thing is you can begin working in here even though this is loading. You don't have to wait for it to finish updating. So let's go into this account and start updating this information. So there's several ways that you can do this. For me, the way I like to do it is I like to do as much as I can in batch form. So if there's a transaction that's similar that I know is going to be coded the same way, then I'll group them together. So you can click on the actual date if you want to sort by date or by description, by payee. It doesn't let you sort by action, but it lets you sort pretty much by anything else. So I'm going to sort by description, and then I want to see everything that is, this description is what loads from the bank, or you can click this everything that's matched and quickly match everything that way. Now with matching, you want to make sure that it is a match. Sometimes QBO thinks for you and they're not always correct. So just double check everything before you match. If this was a client, I would not do it this way. I would make sure that each individual transaction is looked at before it's matched because, like I said, QBO will sometimes try to match things and they're not always correct. All right, so this one, there's two possible records. So one is on the 13th and one is on the 6th. So since this is the 13th and this record that cleared the bank is the 13th, we're going to select that one and then match that way. Now we're left with just transactions that we have to go and manually enter. But I want to show you guys how to create a rule and to capture some of these transactions. So if it's a common transaction that's always going to be the same and it recurs every month or whatever, then I would go ahead and create a rule and have QB automatically enter those transactions. So Tim Philip Masonry, that's always going to be masonry work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a rule and have QB recognize this transaction when the bank information gets updated. So if you go down here, you can create rule, and then I'm just going to name it what it is. It's going to be money out of the checking account, and it's going to, so this description is coming from the bank and it's going to contain Tim Philip Masonry. You can also add an additional condition, which I like to do if it's a reoccurring transaction and the value doesn't change. So let's say every month I have an insurance bill that's $50. So I want the amount to be $50. That way, if that transaction clears, I know it's insurance. But let's say that same insurance company bills me for something outside of that $50, QB won't recognize it because it's not the amount. So let's say you have like Apple apps and you pay for an app every month, that's $8, then you can set it up to where that app is being recognized. But if you buy something from the Apple App Store and it's a different amount, it won't recognize it. It won't enter that transaction, which I like to do. I think it speeds up the process. So I'm just going to add that. Oh, 666. Okay, so in this example, I entered the wrong amount. So how do we fix that? So if you go here and you click on rules and you click edit, you can change it here. And you notice I have the auto add clicked on. If you don't want that, you can just turn it off. You save that, and now you go back to banking, and it's gone because QuickBooks recognized it and it entered it automatically. So if we go look for this transaction, it's right here. And you see under the rule, it has auto add and it has a rule. So if you ever want to go back and see what's been entered, you can go there. So like these, I can click these two. These are rentals. And then I can either accept, update, or exclude. So if I accept, QB is going to load them without a payee or without being categorized. So I want to update, and this transaction is going to be an expense, and it's going to be a rental, which is not in here. I'm going to add it, and it's going to be a vendor, save, and the category is going to be equipment, rental. And then I'm just going to apply and accept. And now those two are gone. Now QB is asking me, do you want to create a rule for a rental to be auto added? You can either create the rule, you can edit the rule, or you can tell it no and not to show you again. So I'm just going to exit this. Now this one, it looks like we've received money back from a rental. So we're going to code this to equipment rental and then add that. And then we have books by Bessie. We can auto add those in. And she's in here. We can code this to accounting and then accept those. And then we have Chin's gas. This could be a gas station. This could be propane. So if you don't have a batch, you can just click on the transaction and it gives you different options here. So you can either enter the information, you can tell QB to look for a match, and there is one. You can save that, and now it's gone. And then Hicks, we can find a match. Is there anything here? Hicks Hardware, 2436. This was 2438. So this would prompt me to say, hey, what happened here? Why do we have a 2-cent discrepancy of what we entered, which we entered this expense, versus what actually cleared the bank? Most likely the issue is going to be in what you typed. So I would just click on this transaction. I wouldn't go any further here. It's 2 cents. It's not a big deal, but I would just fix it in the books. So I would go here. I'm going to move this down. So if you right click here, duplicate, you can duplicate your QBO screen, and then you can go to your vendor. So expense, vendor, Hicks, and then just find that transaction here. And then I would pull the invoice if it's attached, or pull up the receipt, but fix it. I move this back so you guys can see what I'm doing. Save that, exit, go back to banking. Yes, I want to leave without saving, and now it's recognized the transaction. So you can just match it. And then find the match here. Looks like we have a match, and save that. And we're done. We just cleared this checking register. We only have one in savings, so it looks like we did a deposit. Okay, so deposit 1015, $200. We can match that. And then now we have credit card stuff. So it looks like we have some expenses. So we bought something on Amazon. Let's see if it's been entered. It has not been entered. So you can just select, come on, can't type, Amazon. We're gonna create the vendor, save. And then here we have, let's say we just bought office supplies or office expenses, click that, software, and then add that. And then we have a matching transaction. So we've already entered this credit card expense. So we want to match that. Same thing here. And then same thing here, E249, match that. We have 2 transactions. You want to look at your dates. So this was the 20th, you can match that. Then we know that the 27th is a match. And then we have business cards. So this will be an office expense. She is not in here. So let's go ahead and create the vendor. Okay, save that and add. And that is it. We have successfully entered all of our bank transactions. Now from this screen, you have the option to go to your bank register. And that's going to go to your chart of accounts and then select that bank register. And you can see here the difference between what's cleared the bank and what hasn't. And so we have a few transactions that we've paid out that haven't cleared the bank. Now, this one looks familiar because we entered one for 666, if you guys remember in my example. So let's see what's going on with Tim Phillip Masonry. Oh, okay. So we have 2 transactions here with the same date. One's a bill, one's an expense. So let's look at these. So it's just miscellaneous, 1 payment made. And then this one has the bank information, but it looks like we didn't classify it. Interesting. So let's go back, fix the rule first so we don't forget. Edit this, and we want to change this to job expenses. Save. Now this won't fix the transaction that's already been entered. This will fix future transactions. So we need to fix what we've already entered. So click on this and then change that to job expenses and save. So that takes care of the first issue. Now we need to go in and delete the duplicate, which is this one. So I could have probably matched the transaction and it would have matched it to miscellaneous. So if you're ever in a position where you have a duplicate entry and one is a bank and one is a bank transaction and one is something that you, and let's say the other one is a check that you cut, you want to delete the duplicate transaction. So go to more and you can delete, and you can see this is the one that's linked to the bank account. So this is the one we created. So we deleted that. And then let's go in and just match this transaction. So you can see it brought it back into our bank feed. And if we go here, we need to find that transaction. So if you sort by payee, here he is. Let's go ahead and match and save. So you can see that it's not just about going into the bank feed and clicking, match, 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 or, add. You really have to do your research and make sure that what you're entering, it's not, it hasn't been entered already, or if it is an actual match, because QB will do its best to create rules. So when using the rules, I would use them only if it's like something that you pay online, that's auto pay. That way it reduces the risk of you entering something multiple times. So if it's something you get an invoice for and you go and part of your process is entering your invoices and cutting checks, then the rule function wouldn't really work for you because you don't want to create duplicate transactions. So this is a good this was a great example in my opinion, because that way we can see by creating a rule and not checking to see if it was already in QuickBooks, we created a duplicate transaction. So a way to mitigate that is, again, going back into your register and just taking a quick look. Is it something that looks like has already been entered? Do I see something that's, a duplicate transaction? So now if we go back to this Tim Phillip, we can see that we have cleared the bank account for that transaction. So just, skim through it and make sure that it's not something that was previously entered and you just entered it twice. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, share it with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.